Hello friends, this is Jess from J Rose Alchemic Art, and welcome back to another video. In this one we are going to be doing a lot of stuff in October. I know we're obviously into January at this time, but you know, just trying to catch up and make sure that we still go through all the things that were filmed from the previous months. So there's going to be a lot of drawing, a lot of clay making because I'm getting prepared for, I had a market at the end of October and then in November. And lots of fun life things in between. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so literally the night before all of the October prompts are supposed to be starting, but at the very least I've sketched everything out for one of the October prompts for the Art Snacks Challenge that I want to take part in. So I have these all sketched out, and then there's another one for Once Upon a Haunted Forest that I took part in last year. Of course, we have Princey that's very interested in helping. But I have some of these ideas sketched out. I don't have them all sketched out, so I'm probably going to be working on those as well. But for now, we're going to start working on the first day, which is cozy. So that way we can at least have hopefully one of them done for tomorrow, and then we can start working on the rest maybe later, but we'll see how it goes. That is kind of the one nice thing about having all of the prompts and everything usually like the month before or a few weeks before the actual challenge starts, is so you can kind of plan ahead and think about what you do want to sketch. Obviously, I did not finish all of these Art Snacks prompts, but I did have a lot of fun just coming up with different ideas. They're obviously all still in my sketchbook, so it is kind of nice looking spread to look at anyway. But here I am just sketching out first with pencil. My idea was to actually use the inks that I had gotten from the box to like paint over and, you know, use those colors. But I really didn't like how it turned out, so we'll kind of see here in a little bit how it ended up turning. Alrighty, well, so I decided to give up on the inks, and I just wasn't really happy with how it was turning out. Like, I wanted to do this purple background and then draw the ghost over it, but I just wasn't a fan. So I started it over and decided to do color pencils instead, which is really more of a medium that I'm used to, and I just like how it looks better anyway. But, you know, I mean, we're all for experimentation and everything, so I would assume, like, as the prompts go on, I will try to draw more and use more of my Poscas, use more of the inks and everything that was provided. But for now, we're gonna stick with color pencils. So, as October continued, I drew a lot. I also took part in the Once Upon a Haunted Forest challenge, which I had joined last year as well. Lovely hosts and everything, they're so nice, and all of the art is so fun. But I didn't have as much time to like participate in like promoting people and looking at things. I still try to look up quite a bit and like comment and like all the illustrations that I did see from the challenge, but I had a lot going on in my life besides that. So here I am, though. This was actually part of the illustration that I did for the first prompt. So I decided to make this little like haunted ghost fountain. This was part of the area that we first met Lucy and Midnight for the first part of the challenge. So I decided I wanted to recreate that in a clay version, and here I am just working on that. I wanted to actually do that for all of the prompts of Once Upon a Haunted Forest, but some of them got really detailed, especially near the end, which was fantastic. I really loved how they turned out, but obviously not necessarily feasible for a clay thing. But I did do a lot of interesting ones, so we'll get to see all of the ones that I did make here, including the crypt if you've been following along with my art. But yeah, here I am. I'm just adding a little bit of mica powder to my clear clay that I put onto the mold, just to kind of make the effect of water. And then obviously I'd already sculpted the ghost sculpture for the head of the fountain. And then these two little friends are going to be on the side. So altogether, I think it came out really well. And obviously, it's just a lot of fun to come up with these ideas, draw them, sketch them out, and then to actually be able to bring it to life like this in a clay sculpture. I think that's a lot of fun, and it's really cool to see your art come to life in a 3D manner like this too. So definitely recommend if you haven't tried, either molding with or sculpting with clay or anything like that. Oh yeah, and I did also pick up these little skeleton hands from Dollar Tree because I was looking for, originally I was looking for some goodie bags for mystery bags, and I found some which were really nice. You'll actually see this not until a long time later. I really didn't actually use these until the past convention that I did in January, so look forward to that. I did manage to find these cute little skeleton tongs that I think are technically for salads, but I was like, you know what, this is going to be a lot of fun for if I decide to show it off in a video, or in my case, I ended up using it for my little cauldron poles because I had no luck with finding an actual gachapon machine. So, it actually worked out and it looks really good, so no worries. But yes, I actually decided to also make this little clay witch's cauldron. At first I was kind of having a hard time deciding how I wanted to make the design, but ended up figuring it out, and it's pink, it's super cute. I did actually just sell it, so if you are interested in getting one of your own, let me know down in the comments and make an order on my Shopify, obviously. But yeah, I ended up having a little floating ghost here, so it looks like it's actually stirring the cauldron, and it's just a lot of fun. I also ended up working on, again, more of the more detailed pieces that I did for October, so this was part of the Bewitching Bridge prompt for the Once Upon a Haunted Forest challenge. So again, I tried a lot of different techniques this time in October, so I had a lot of fun with all of these, and the bridge was really difficult to make because I was having a hard time figuring out how to make the bridge and the parts of it, the handles, that's the word, rails, that's probably better, yeah. I was having a really hard time making them all stand up properly, so I ended up using some aluminum foil, and that actually worked a lot better, and decided to add little flowers that actually glow in the dark and leaves here as well. So it really does give a haunted effect, but also very beautiful with the nature and everything that surrounds it as well. So we'll go ahead and enjoy. Okay, I think that our little bewitching bridge is just about done. I really enjoyed making these little flowers. They're very cute and they are glow in the dark just like the ghost, but I think I will actually go ahead and bake it, and then maybe add some more color. I'm a little nervous just because the railing of the bridge it's a little shaky, I'm not gonna lie. But it's been holding up so far, so I think I feel better once I actually bake it, and then maybe it'll be a little more stable once it's actually hardened and everything. So let's see what happens. October was also just a fun month with friends, so we ended up playing Horrified with a couple of our friends that came over, and Prince of course had to join as well. I also decided to make this cute little Halloween cake, so I made a little stand for it, and I ended up poking little holes into the cake to kind of give it a spongy effect, as well as added little candy corns to the top, so I think it was really fun. I also ended up adding them to the side, and this is how it turned out in the end. It's so cute and fun. I actually ended up giving it to my mom as a little birthday present, but really recommend if you ever decide to make your own mini cake, definitely look up some ideas and decorations like this. And these also came just in time before my next little market that I was going to have in October. These are my little bottle of booze keychains. They're little shaker keychains, and obviously they have the little ghosts inside them. They are so adorable, and I love the pun still, so I was like, I need to make this into a little keychain. So I actually ordered them from Rogue's. Definitely recommend them if you only know you need a certain amount, and actually the quantity and the product are usually pretty good. And like if I've had mistakes with one before, and they actually were willing to work with me and like get it reordered for no charge. So that was really nice. So I ended up getting, I think, 40 of them, something around that. And again, really enjoy it. I ended up, they're actually quite a big hit at all of the little markets and conventions that I've done so far. So definitely recommend looking into shaker keychains because they're pretty popular actually. But now we have come to the big part of the video. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this script. It was so much fun to make, but there were so many tiny details and trying to figure everything out was kind of difficult. But we ended up doing it and it was fine. But yes, this is the very start of how I molded and sculpted my little clay crypt here. So as you can see, it kind of just became a big little box right here. So nothing wrong with that. You really have to trust the process when you're making something big like this. So I ended up sculpting out obviously all of the sides of the crypt with a little roof over the top. I ended up making this little door as well and kind of cutting out the details here with where it was going to be positioned. Obviously there's, again, like I stenciled in kind of a design onto the door frame as well, so if you really decide to take a closer look at it, you can kind of see it still. But cutting out the position for the door was also a little intimidating because I didn't want to ruin the rest of it or press too hard because I knew I was going to have to like re-edit the line work that I'd already done for the front of it. So that was kind of intimidating, but ended up working out okay. We got it out, and then I ended up kind of molding it into the front door there. So you'll kind of see now that we're also working on some pillars as well. There's going to be kind of a little covering over the front door. And again, these lines were not perfect, but it did kind of give a neat effect that, you know, this is a pillar. It's holding up this supporting structure of the cover over the front door. And again, we add lots of little details into this one. So I think overall, this whole thing probably took me about 6 to 7 hours, maybe even 8, just because I just had so much fun adding all these fun little details to it. Like, this isn't even the end of it, guys. It keeps going for a bit, and I did include it all here. So if you would also like to make your own J. Rose Alchemic Art inspired crypt, then please feel free to follow along or ask questions down in the comments. So if you didn't follow along with the Once Upon a Haunted Forest challenge that I took part in October, this is actually the little crypt home of one of my skeleton witches, a character that I designed this year. So I had actually drew out this whole illustration in one of the prompt challenges, and again, I really love the idea of adding all these little details to her home. And I don't know, I think maybe someday, if possible, I think it'd be a lot of fun to either make the prompt challenge into either like a little, you know, little picture book, maybe a zine, something like that, so I can always come back and look at it as well without, you know, nothing wrong with going through Instagram, but I think it's just fun that way. But I also ended up finishing the details by adding that little cross out on the front, as well as the little pumpkin head at the top of the crypt. And I ended up using a lot of aluminum foil. It's okay, because I ended up buying more for my fiance, because he does most of the cooking in our house. But yes, use that for the ground here to kind of give it that like raised effect. And added some little crypts, and actually this is almost, you know, getting closer to being done. Again, there's still more to add, and I actually ended up like writing in some details as well, so here's another nice little view of it. But decided to actually add a little more to it with the tree here. Trees are so much fun to make out of clay. I don't know, I think they're really cool because I really enjoy the idea of like sculpting the little branches and everything, adding them to the side, and then kind of molding it all together so it all looks pretty uniform and connected. But yeah, that's what I'm doing here. This one does not have any leaves, obviously, because it was meant to be October. All the leaves had fallen, obviously. And I do think about maybe making like, probably, I guess I could do it now. Maybe for next fall, but I could probably do it sooner. But I really like the idea of making a little tree that has like all the leaves fallen on like this little pedestal, and I think that would just be a really fun effect to make with clay and everything. So possibly look forward to that now that I've kind of had the idea for it. So now that we've finished sculpting the tree, we're actually going to go ahead and add in some little vines by rolling them out really thin, detaching them, and then actually attaching it to the ground. So altogether, this is what it looks like right before we put it in the oven to bake. So there are so many fun little details, and it came out really cool. But I also ended up trying to make some little keychains here of these skeleton heads for the first time. And I think that they're really cool. They're all actually, they do glow in the dark, so they're very fun. And again, I decided to make these part of my little cauldron pulls, so we'll talk about that again later in the future. But really fun designs, and actually, again, the glow-in-the-dark keychains have been really popular. So, but here it is. I'm adding in the tiny little details onto the grave. I added like little signs on them that say like oops, things like that. I just thought it'd be, again, bringing out my puns here into my art. But I'm going to go ahead and glaze everything because it's finally all done and looking fantastic, I think. I had so much fun with making this little clay crypt here. And it honestly, like, it still stands proudly in my office. I do always bring it with me to all of my conventions and art markets just to see if anyone would be interested in it. And I have had a couple people interested, but I do have to charge a little bit more than my regular clay pieces just because it did take me so long and there are so many materials that were put into it. So in the end, I don't know. I might just keep it in my office as a nice reminder because it's just super cool anyway. But if someone is interested in it, then I also understand wanting to bring this into your home and just staring at it. But I ended up baking all of the rest of my clay pieces, so we're just going ahead and glazing everything one last time. And I believe we are just about done, actually. So I hope you enjoyed the clay process. Another fall thing you always have to do in the Midwest is going to your local farm to get some yummy food. We found these pumpkin pancakes as well as all these other fun desserts, but they were so delicious, and obviously they're going to last us the whole of next year as well because we got a lot. But yes, have to do that and go through the corn maze. Finished one workout for the day, and we had a very watchful Buffy who wanted to make sure that Mom didn't get hurt or anything or strained herself too much. And then we had the other two kitties that were sleeping in the corner. But they're so cute. How could you ever wake them? But we'll get back into drawing here in just a little bit. But for now, I need to drink some water. So one of the final things that I did here before I had my next art market, which was actually going to be in a couple of days, was to prepare all of these keychains. Obviously, don't be like me, use actual jewelry pliers and things like that instead of using, I'm pretty sure this is a wire cutter and a threader from my Cricut. I mean, do what you gotta do, but yeah, use the proper supplies if you're gonna make stuff like this. But yeah, this is essentially how I have made all my clay keychains so far, up until recently when I got my little supplies for Christmas, so look forward to that. But yes, here are some more ghost keychains and my little skull keychain. And that is actually the end of the video, my friends. Oh my gosh, we went over a lot of stuff. I just kind of decided to pack it all together in this one vlog. So if you have stuck around and actually made it to the end here, please feel free to comment what your favorite part of fall this year was, or in 2023. Yeah. Obviously we're already in January now, 24th. Sorry, we're a little behind on content, but I hope that you have enjoyed it. I had so much fun sharing all these new processes that I made with you with my clay art, and I didn't show a whole lot of my digital and my traditional art in this video, but if you would like to see it in the next one, do let me know. But I hope you look forward to the next one with all of the markets and conventions, and that you have a wonderful day.